Noisy pixel.
Before playing the next studio-developed roguelike dungeon crawler Crown Trick, I believed I had a good understanding of the genre. You enter a dungeon where an enemy action follows each action, and you try to get as far as you can without dying. While Crown Trick uses this as a foundation, the game has the flow of an action roguelike with a layer of strategic planning that requires players to use a variety of tools available if they hope to make it past the first floor. It turns into a game that is as addicting as it is challenging. Crown Trick takes place in a nightmare dungeon where you are tasked with wearing a crown that grants you the powers within this world. The dungeon crawling portions of the game take place while you sleep, but it's also possible to explore your base, which resides outside of your dreams. As you progress through the floors, you'll save people who are then transferred to your base to provide you with various upgrades. Upgrades are purchased with blue crystals, which is also the only item that isn't reset if you die. Your first times through will most likely be met with death, but this is also determined by the random weapons you receive during any given run. Weapons have a variety of different bonuses and attack range. Understanding them will allow you to make the best out of any time you're in a dungeon. For instance, I didn't know that the gun takes one turn to reload every few shots, but it is extremely powerful and shoots 4 squares in front of you. Weapons in Crown Trick are vast, and there seemed to be no end to the arsenal that I found myself equipping. During a run, only one weapon can be held at a time, so the choice of what to take with you is crucial, especially when coming up to a boss. In the event that your weapons are totally useless, you could also rely on items to get you through encounters, or you can even use the environment. Being a turn-based dungeon crawler, you are allowed to take your time and plan out your attack. This is also encouraged during a run by entering challenge rooms that require you to clear out the room in several turns or take no damage. Understanding your items, abilities, and weapons and the effect that they have on the environment is crucial if you wish to make it far. To help players are a few magical abilities granted by summons. These are monster sub-bosses that lend you their powers after they are defeated. Using their skills is a huge help during some encounters, and you are allowed to choose which one you would like to bring with you. So in other words, the environment should be treated as a possible weapon, and the developers have provided you with several ways to exploit this. It makes for a highly strategic system that had me staring at the screen and planning out how I can survive through these situations. The gameplay is extremely fluid in Crown Trick, almost to a fault. There are times where it didn't feel like a turn-based dungeon crawler, but I was quickly reminded it was after I died from rushing in. Players also have a warp dash ability that can be used a number of times and recharged during battle. This allows players to warp across the room or past obstacles to put some space between them and the enemy, or set themselves up to trigger an environmental trap. One thing that stood out to me was the overall design of the characters and enemies. Furthermore, the attack of enemies matched their design, which is extremely important considering you don't always know what they are capable of. Some enemies have a charge attack which gives you time to evade. This forces you to weigh your actions, especially if you don't have any dashes left. Enemies can be staggered by breaking their armor counter, which will allow you to lay your more powerful attacks on them. This is also found on bosses, which is helpful. There are other elements found in a dungeon that could help or hinder your experience. Things like gacha machines to spend your money on, ruins that give you a choice which could end with you becoming stronger or weaker, and treasure chests full of items and gold. It makes exploring dungeons a bit more interesting as you never really know what you're going to encounter. Crown Trick is turning into my most anticipated dungeon crawler of 2020. It is beautiful, challenging, and has some unique features that make it an addictive experience. I died way too many times than I'd like to admit, but I kept going back for more. The gameplay loop of unlocking new weapons, gaining new abilities, and improving your base throughout each run makes it tough to not want to jump back in and test your skills each time you die. Thank you for watching. Please read the full review at noisypixel.net. NoisyPixel is run by a group of gamers who work hard to deliver news, reviews, previews, and more. Please subscribe to keep up with all our future content.